Greetings, weary travelers, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I am your guest, Arkaniir Silver Shield, and I'm joined by, once again, the man, the myth, the legend, the host of the show, LotusOfDoom. How's it going, Lotus?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to have you back, Ark.
It is. Yeah, it's good to do the intro again. It feels nice. I've missed doing the intro. Yeah, it's been sort of like 3 months since I've last been on the show. So
something like that. Yeah.
It is good.
It's all right. It's good to have you actually return and join us. Scheduling has been weird, to say the least. As you haven't really actually just bailed on the whole thing. You were just very, very busy, also making it difficult since you can't just not sleep anymore.
yeah, that went out of the window as I got a job again. And it didn't help that as soon as I got a job, we went into like a full crunch that lasted like 2 months. So yeah, that was rough. But
right.
So I haven't really played anything. I haven't done anything. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. Well, I mean,
you're back.
For this
you've
episode.
Got some. I was gonna say. I'd say. Well, yeah, exactly. Look, you're happy to guest anytime you'd like on your show. It's kind of interesting though. You say you haven't gotten as much game time, but we'll get to it in Tales. You've managed to knock out one of the better dungeons in the game, as people are mentioning Battlespire, and it's the Battlespire inspired dungeon, which I still love.
Yeah. So I got one day, like one evening, that I managed to play with the Entente again, and we immediately cleared the hard mode that we were missing. But gonna keep that until Tales part. So yeah, I do want to talk about why, like, I haven't been around, although I did, you did mention it a whole bunch of times.
Sure, but just a little background from your side of things, as opposed to me paraphrasing, would probably be good.
Yeah. So what happened is, back in the first week of September, I got back into full-time game development in mobile games again. And what happened is, so the concept is, we rapid prototype a whole bunch of games. We work with a publisher, and publisher wants what publisher wants, and we do it. So one of the prototypes that we were testing, we sent into testing, came back with like good results. I'm not going to go into detail. And we got greenlit to soft launch the game. So the publisher started like giving us a heck ton of feedback, requests, updates. So we started pushing new builds like crazy for testing, more testing and stuff like that. So that's been like 2 months of working 6 days a week, up to sometimes 16 hours a day. And yeah, I basically went to work, came back home, slept, went to work, came back home, slept. So that was a sort of like very busy 2 months. And that's why I haven't played, like I only played New World pretty much. And that was because I started a guild there before all this. And I wanted to get to max level. So in my limited time, I got to max level in New World. And that's pretty much the only thing I did in the past 3 months. So yeah, now that crunch is sort of normalized, here I am playing games again, being able to start streaming a little bit more, and maybe if we get the scheduling right, show up on Tales more. So that's the backstory of this.
Yeah. Ideally, I was going to say we can get some scheduling nailed out so that at least, even if you're not on for every show, we can manage to have it be more of a you're consistently here type of thing. Just because, again, it's still a group effort. So
yeah,
definitely like having that, especially because you balance out any of our guests who do not support the Pact, which I am very upset that we have had a variety of people who support these other traitorous alliances, and at some points I've just been straight up outnumbered. Yeah, I know. I've been lax. I mean, Red Diamond and we had a great discussion, and then it turned out that it's this horrible blue influx, and it's oh god, it's just.
I mean, then
I
again,
got lax.
I've always been tolerant of the blue, so
Yeah,
blue is
no,
okay as long as it's not Altmeri Dominion. And then
It's
who
those
am I to say
shifty-
because I brought Pixie on the show? So
Right. It's that shifty Dominion.
yeah. The sneaky
But,
spies and everything.
Yep, exactly. The other thing is, I believe you can confirm this since you actually, the other thing that would kind of be remiss to say is a lot of people have, reached out to me as I've been like, kind of maining the hosting of the show. However, nobody would be happy if I also was doing the editing to anything because I'm terrible at that stuff. So even though you haven't been necessarily overtly on the show, any and all reason this stuff gets updated and produced is still because of art.
Yeah, I've been editing behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is also that. It's not like you've been completely MIA, as the only reason the show is heard by anybody other than literally live on my channel is because of you still. So one of the things that we were working on, it seems like we've got the YouTube thingy fixed. Yes,
that's now fixed. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So what happened there was, so there's two reasons I stopped pushing out the YouTube videos, because as I said, I was working pretty much like only coming home to sleep. We sometimes like pushed 4 a.m. days and going back to work in the like sort of early afternoon, or just like midnight. So it's been pretty much just come home, sleep. So that's why the episodes have been delayed, basically, even though when they were recorded on like Saturday, they were coming out on like Thursday and stuff like that because I didn't have time to edit. And the thing with the video version is rendering them takes quite a long time. Like it can sometimes, depending on the length of the show, because we don't record for an hour. You guys, we record for like 4 hours. And that really didn't change with Lotus either. So rendering them into a video format takes about sometimes 40 minutes to an hour. And then uploading that, because it's a large file at the end, also takes time. So sometimes I just edit the audio format, which is a lot faster. It just takes from like me downloading the video version from Lotus's Twitch to putting it on the website so it updates all RSS feeds. It can be like 30 minutes. So what I started doing was just get the audio version out there at least, and just ignore the video version for then. And then what started happening is Sony Vegas started botching, like desyncing the audio and video in the videos that I downloaded from Twitch. And it took me a while to realize what was going on with that as well. But that's now fixed, so hopefully future episodes, even if I'm not on them, will continue to be on YouTube in the video format as we record. So there you go.
Yeah. And like we've mentioned, we're aware that it's a smaller audience, but at the same time, those of you who do prefer watching it on YouTube, happy to try to get it for you. Just so it's wherever you prefer to watch it type of thing. Because not everybody has Twitch, or not everybody wants to listen to the podcast version audio only. So we did hear you. I appreciate everybody for letting me know that that's what you were looking for. So hopefully this will have it all fixed for you so you can get it back. All right. So I guess game news wise, we can jump into that. Have you managed to get any Undaunted time in during the event? Because it's still going on and will be for a little bit to come.
I've only did one dungeon during the event. Okay. This was actually a YouTube comment on the episode with Deltia as well. That just portrays my feeling about ESO's events very well. So I'm just gonna read that comment and then talk about it on top of it.
Yep.
I'm just delaying because I was bringing it up. So, this is from Yuho. I personally don't like how many events ESO has. It's either that I am grinding myself to burnout during the events, or feel like I am missing out for skipping events. So, it's a lose-lose situation for me.
Right.
I like the events, but I really don't like how frequent they are. And that's exactly how I felt about Elder Scrolls Online's events for the longest time, and we talked about it on the show for a lot too. But yeah, so I stopped doing events like 2-3 years ago, I think. So yeah, I didn't.
And from because it's funny because even Deltia had mentioned that it's like we had mentioned that it's like, okay, it's good. They've changed them up, which I do appreciate that they're not just literally the exact same thing. They've been adding a little flavor to them each time to make, if you've done them before, there's something a little more to them. We had mentioned with a couple different shows, I really liked the crow boss that was added to the Halloween, the Witches Festival. I actually hope they use something along those lines as a mechanic in a dungeon, because that boss is really cool, because it had this like gravestone mechanic. If it took too long, it would start spawning graves and then zombies would come out of the graves. Yeah, so it like gave you it was a really cool fight. Granted, the rewards was kind of like it was, oh, here's 3 plunder skulls. I was like, that's all right, whatever. But the boss itself was cool, and it did seem like it scaled, which was also interesting because I went through and 2-manned it, and I also went in with an entire like max 12 people with Maddie gone. We went in and we just obliterated it. But at the same time, it seemed to scale how quickly stuff was coming at us and how much it had the same amount of health, but it seemed like it went into phases quicker. I don't know if it was just luck or whatever, but it did seem like it scaled to make the fight a little more interesting longer. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you just have like a raid team attacking it, but even still, like,
I hope that's true, and I hope that they implement that on every world pass or event pass in the game.
Agreed.
Like that's needed.
Yeah, totally agreed. And you know, the frequency of events, I like that they have something for people to do, and it's very, this isn't meant to sound derogatory, but it's very casual friendly. It scoops people in that just have like a casual desire to hop into the game type of thing. Not like casuals are bad and they're ruining everything. But one of the things that we will actually kind of dive into with my tales, and I had mentioned last time that the Undaunted event actually was going off without a hitch, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. There's now a few hitches, at least in my experience, and not just mine. Yeah, might have. Now, we had several, like, personally, when I've played and people that I group with have played, it did work really well, and it's not totally broken. It's not like previous years where it's like, oh cool, the Dungeon Finder literally doesn't work and nobody can do this event. But it's not quite as flawless as it was the first couple of days of the event. I don't know if it's because it's been going for a while, if there's more people on. I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but at least in my experience and people that I've talked to who have encountered the same exact problem, the dungeon, not even the Dungeon Finder, the grouping of parties is starting to bork pretty bad sometimes. We will have problems where we will travel into a dungeon and it will just drop somebody from the group. They're just not there anymore. But it will either let them join, but other times it will create a fake instance for them, which is, this will sound weird and almost made up, but it's caused quite a few issues for our groups. And I do have a fix for it. It's not a great fix, but it is a fix if you play on PlayStation. Don't know if this works on, I don't know if this is an issue on Xbox or on PC, but if this happens on PlayStation, there is a fix. But we will go into groups, and not even group finder related. It will fake an instance where 3 of us will be together and we can see each other, and one person, it will say they're in a party with the 4 of us, but we're not actually in their party. And then they can't leave the party because the game knows they're not in a party, but it's saying they're in a party. You have to restart your system. Not even quitting the app works.
Put him into a limbo, just keep him there.
Okay. Apparently Yaz ran into that last night. Yeah, so what you do in our situation, which we definitely had this happen. I've had it happen with multiple groups, and it was real bad when we were playing Friday, when we were pushing for True Genius. We spent about half an hour with group problems in between runs, which was rough. But we pretty much, if this happened and somebody got stuck in a thing, there was no way we couldn't kick them from group. The three remaining people couldn't kick the one person because they didn't show in our group. That one person said that they were in a group with all four of us, but they weren't allowed to leave because the game knew that they weren't actually in a group, but it was like showing that they were. We had the inability, if you would restart the game, it did not work. The solution, which did work every time, but it was not great, was you had to restart the PlayStation entirely. There was no way around it. When you would reboot the system, you would come back in, weren't in a party anymore.
What
totally
if you just closed the game and just reopened the game? Even that.
We had people having, so if you log out, log in too quick, it can sometimes give you like a 304 error or whatever. One person in one of my groups actually had that happening, and then they got back in and they were still in a fake group.
Oh my God.
The only surefire way to fix it, we had to restart the system, which I don't understand because like at that point, if you close the entire application, what is saved in the system outside?
The game would cache some data on the system, but not group information. Surely,
I have no idea. No clue. But either way, it's not super consistent, but it is really annoying. So I'd be remiss to not say that it's like, okay, that is a thing. Is it game breaking? Certainly not. Is it annoying? Yes. So as opposed to just me saying like, oh yeah, the Undaunted event is totally working flawlessly, that would be now disingenuous. So it's still working well most of the time.
Yeah. I mean,
but
honestly,
occasionally this happens.
That's still a lot better than the previous Undaunted events where the dungeon finder would just break and you actually couldn't do anything to fix it. So just having to restart the system is a lot better solution than having to just wait for like 2 hours until the dungeon finder works. So
this is going to sound a little Stockholm syndrome-y, but hey, I'll take it. Because I can at least play this event for the most part without too much trouble. So to be fair, given its comparison to literally every Undaunted event prior to, I will take this bug compared to the others, but it doesn't mean that this bug is also not really annoying. So so the other thing, which there's so many of them, it's kind of not worth bringing up individually, but there are so many Black Friday deals that seem to go till the beginning of December for the most part. There's a lot of stuff on sale, including the game itself is massively discounted. The reason I suggest if you go to ESOonline.com or whatever it is, there is a deluge of whatever. I don't know, whatever. Yeah, there it is. The place where you buy the things. Now, if you go to that, you can look. There are so many different dates because that's how they do everything. None of them have consistent dates. And actually, it's brought up in chat, which I was very upset about. It's not called Black Friday on the site.
Oh, it's actually called Black Friday. Oh, they gave up on the lore.
I know. So I was going to bring that up. So you make a very good point, Lexicon. But they dropped the ball on this one, and my lore heart hurts because, yes, on the website, I had to correct my typing in the notes, actually. It's not called Black Friday on the site. It's actually called Black Friday. So thumbs down. Fix that next year.
Should we? Wait. I forgot what I called him. Dominic Daves. I gave him a weird name once.
You gave him a
Damien or something like that.
Damien. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Damien, fix that next year.
Yeah.
Black Friday. Also, this is a really good point. Why is it called Earthgore and not Nirngore?
Lexicon is coming with the questions, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good question.
Yeah, now we have to call Lemon Turtle.
All right, back to the list of people I need to get on the show. I want answers. But yeah, so definitely check that out if there's anything you're looking to buy. Crowns themselves are actually not on sale, I don't believe. I think it's bundles, it's packages, it's DLC, there's lots of stuff on sale, but I don't think there's just straight up crown packs on sale. I didn't see them. But yeah, so there is that. And then the other thing which is worth mentioning is there is an event going on Twitter on the actual Elder Scrolls Online website. It's hashtag ESO Rocks Out, in which it's a community-based event where you are making a heavy metal poster for ESO, the Deadland. Some of these Deadland / Dagon metal posters are so good. But that's an event that's currently going on. You can post it on we can actually put the link in. But the event itself is obviously artistically based, and the team is picking winners with the prizes are like pretty impressive, just as a gauge. So win-game prizes are contrast. Okay, so 2 grand prize winners will be drawn out of this, where you get 21,000 crowns, 2 in-game crown store pets of your choice, 2 in-game crown store mounts of your choice, 1 in-game house unfurnished, your choice, 1 in-game house guest of your choice, 10 in-game music boxes of your choice, and a pink torch bug.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So you could get, I assume these will have to be the existing items.
They need to. So from my understanding, because I was trying to get exact details on this, because I did look into this, they don't need to be in current rotation. They just need to have been in the game once before.
Oh my. Okay, that's actually like a lot more important reward than the actual amount of the rewards. Being able to get something out of rotation.
Yes, from my understanding, it does not need to be in rotation. You know, anybody can correct me if that's wrong, but what I saw was it literally just needs to be a thing that has been in game that you are able to get.
Also, why
there's also 4.
Why did they cheap out on that?
On the furnishing.
They are giving
that was a funny little.
That's like, I don't know, 1,000 or whatever dollars worth of crown stuff in there, and they cheaped out on furnish.
$15 right here. Yeah. What is it? There's also 4 runner-ups where you get 14,000 crowns, an in-game. So you get 1 pet of your choice, 1 mount of your choice, 1 house guest of your choice, 5 music boxes of your choice, and a pink torch bug. So basically you get 50% of what the grand prize is, which is also pretty crazy. And then just if you don't, if they don't happen to pick your stuff, there's a community vote one, which is also really cool. So that you know, the community decides who gets this, not a runner-up prize, but just basically the fan favorite, I guess you could call it, where you get 5,500 crowns and a music box and a pink torch bug as well. So if you have any artistic talent whatsoever, or just want to try to do this and have a good idea, definitely enter this. You can post them publicly using the hashtag ESO Rocks Out. But all the information is on the website on how you can send it in. Definitely get involved with this if you would like. There's lots of good prizes. And I won't be entering because I have no talent to do anything with. And I've already seen some of the submissions.
I have already drawn something.
Perfect. Beautiful.
So is
it on a napkin too? Oh no, it's even a piece of paper.
It's a piece of paper, and it's Dagon playing 1 guitar below and 1 guitar over his head because he has 4 arms. And
okay, that's actually really funny.
Yeah. So I think I have a chance.
Wait.
Should I summon?
Wait, you need it. You know what's confusing about that? He doesn't have enough horns. He has the little spiky horns. You got to make sure everybody can recognize him as Dagon. You got to give him little spiky horns. I think he has like 6. So just give him a couple spiky horns, and then I will vote for you.
There you go.
Beautiful. Perfect.
For audio listeners, it's just a stick figure of Dagon. But even that's terribly driven because this is the extent of my artistic abilities.
Yeah, no, just picture how awesome that would be, and then pretend we had any talent to make that.
Exactly, yeah.
and then vote for Ark. So yeah, that's a big thing coming up, and yeah, win yourself some prizes, hopefully. If you do win and happen to listen to the show, let us know, by the way, because I know some people who have won these things before, and it's always like, oh my God, I know the person who won the thing. Like, that's amazing. So if you happen to listen to the show and win one of these, definitely shoot me a message.
We would love to hear what you picked as well for the rewards.
Right. Like there's a lot of stuff. I'll be curious what people's choices would be and stuff like that. And then the final thing, which is sort of news related, I guess. Next weekend, outside my wheelhouse, I will be joining a crew of people let me get up the exact link for it. But I will be joining in an Dungeons and Dragons style one-shot campaign hosted by Ophelia, who you might actually have a couple experiences in D&D with, Mark. Maybe one or two.
Yeah, well, maybe 1 or 2. Yeah. Or like 2 years of games.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah.
So this will be taking place on, I believe it's Ophelia's channel. Okay.
Got the link in chat.
Okay, perfect. So this D&D inspired campaign is to support the Save the Children campaign, which again, when you make it about charity, I'm all for these things. It makes doing something fun way better when it goes to a good cause. So I know literally nothing other than like vague references to things about D&D. So this will be real rough for me, which I guess to a degree might be some of the appeal because I will be a mess. But the people involved with the campaign are actually Demios Thea, who is an Elder Scrolls Stream Team member. We have Hyperpixie, who is going to be joining for this. We have myself and Lich Rambert. So we're going to be doing Ophelia's one-shot campaign for this with the Elder Scrolls inspired theme to it, much like A Road Less Traveled, I would assume, only condensed. I'm not going to spoil my attempt at making a character yet. I've had people guess, and I appreciate the guesses, but you're thinking how I would actually play something, which is violent, stabby, and I steal everything. Since I don't know how to role play, I'm going to try my best by being as out of character as something you would think as humanly possible. It'll either totally flop or actually there's just no way this isn't going to totally flop. There's no way what I'm trying to do will actually work with a degree of success. So hopefully it's at least entertaining. But yeah, I am going, I'm going to go very out of my wheelhouse of how to do stuff for this campaign. This should be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pixie knows how to play. I don't know Thea or Lich Rambert's background in D&D, so I might be the newbiest of us. But oh man,
if they don't play a Lich, I'm gonna be mad. I told this to Ophi as well. I said Lich's gonna play
Lich Rambert?
Lich. No, yeah, like he's gotta play Lich Rambert. It has to happen. Yep. That's like the perfect opportunity for this to become a reality.
Is so good. So this will be taking place on December 3rd. Wait, is December 3rd? December 4th? Dates are hard. What is the date on this thing? No, I think it's December 4th.
So 4th
Yes,
of
December 4th.
December, yeah.
Yep, I was going to say dates are hard and my calendar just closed, so that was becoming problematic to read. Okay, so anyways, yeah, December 4th, and it's going to be at noon, my time, Eastern, or 5 p.m. GMT. Yep, so definitely tune in for that. Even if you just want to come and watch, as with everything that I do, having extra eyes on it not only hopefully will be entertaining, but will help draw other people into the event, which the potential that people can, donate for the cause is always a good thing. So even if you can just lurk or anything like that, it definitely helps. And hopefully it'll be an entertaining experience and one that people will remember because, I have no idea what I'm doing when it relates to stuff like this.
So the Save the Children campaign is currently going on as well. If you wanna get ahead of the schedule and donate or check it out, you can just find all that information in twitch.tv/Ophelia, who is actually currently, as we record, is doing a chat play D&D events as well. So you can participate in that from chat and just do all that good stuff. And as Lotus said, get extra eyes on or donate some extra cash if you are available. It goes to children all over the place, so there you go. No reason not to.
Exactly. But on that note, actually, I suppose that, that covers pretty much all of the news and everything. That can actually bring us into Tales, which, Ark, it's been a while, but I know you've done at least something impressive.
Yes.
And also, while you start to describe stuff for the video people, I will be right back.
All right.
So un secondo, but yeah, start regaling us. I'll be right back.
All right. So as I mentioned, folks, I did not have much game time. In the last 3-ish months, I haven't even logged into ESO until last Saturday. It was both due to, time constraints. I had very limited game time, and in that game time, I played New World because I tried to reach the max level. So I hadn't logged into ESO, but once I finally got my times right, or sort of decent, I messaged Luna, Kitsu, and Jen, who make up the Untaunted, your favorite Dungeoneers. And I was like, okay, I have, for the first time in 2 months, I have Saturday off. So we can just play some ESO, do some dungeons, do some shenanigans. So we gathered together. And initially we were going to do some random veterans to warm up and things like that, because I hadn't played in a long time and we hadn't played together in a long time as well. But I had made other promises too, so I had about 2.5 hours of game time. So we thought, okay, let's just jump into it, and see how it goes. So we jumped into Cellar hard mode because that was the only dungeon left that we hadn't cleared as the Untaunted together. Before I started working, and basically we started not being able to play together. So we jumped in there, and the muscle memory obviously started causing issues here and there. I was trying to remember, how to dodge roll, how to block. The thing is though, because I played, so my ESO playstyle never changed in 7 years. For 7 years, I tanked as a Dragon Knight, as a Nord, and I used the same skills almost, depending on, some things did change, but... So, the muscle memory immediately kicked in, because you can't just get rid of, 7 years of muscle memory in just 3 months. So, I started doing fine, and apparently my absolutely crazy, ridiculous, dumb ultimate build still works like a charm, not nerfed, flying under the radar, as always have been. So I'm still spamming Warhorn, spamming everything. Everybody's spamming their ultimates because I'm regenerating massive ultimate for everybody else as well. So we are burning through the dungeon, even though we hadn't done it in 3 months. And it started fine. I forgot that there were secret bosses that we had to kill, so we had to run back, do those. But we got to the bosses and we only wiped a few times, and that was mainly because I forgot how to dodge. See, the problem is, in New World, you dodge by pressing shift. In ESO, I dodged by double tapping. So what I was doing, as I realized, was I was trying to dodge by pressing tab, which is not dodging in any of these games. I don't know how my brain got confused to that extent. It's just... So I was like, oh, I went like... At some point, I was like, oh, I know why I'm dying. I'm dodging by pressing tab, because that's how you dodge in Niver. And then I stopped like, no.
What does tab do in ESO?
In ESO, it's tab targets. In New World, it opens inventory. It has nothing to do with dodging in either game. Yet I was trying to dodge by pressing tab. So beautiful. I was like, like, oh, I know why I'm dying. I dodge by pressing tab, because that's how you dodge in Niver. Wait. No, it's not. You dodge with shift in Niver. So what have I been doing?
You made up a new keybind.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just got confused. And then also in the dungeon, it's like everybody's so fast, right? I mean, I've always been a slow build because I'm a Nord, I'm a DK. I don't have any like major expedition or anything like that. But everyone's zooming around me. Now, Jen is an orc, so she's super fast. Everybody else has like major expedition and stuff like that. So everyone's just super fast, and I'm just very slow. And I didn't remember it to be that slow. So I was like, I stopped there and I was like, folks, I'm very slow. I have to check this out. So I'm checking out my champion points. I'm checking out my like items. Is there a new skill? Is there a new debuff? I'm checking out the like heavy armor debuffs. I'm like, did we get a speed debuff with heavy armor with the Deadlands DLC that I don't know about? And then I realized, in New World, you can't sprint. So I just stopped sprinting in ESO.
Oh my god.
I was just default running around. And I was like, I'm so slow.
Amazing.
And Luna was just like running back to me to give me major expedition, and I'm like still slow. I'm like, how are you all this fast?
So I have a question for you. Because speed, I've been dealing with like trying to... We'll get into why I needed to learn how to be speedy very soon too. But I assume at least for dungeons, are you using the bracing anchor red CP?
I don't know.
What it does, I was going to say you might be. What it does is it gives you 20% damage mitigation. But
while
it makes
sprinting?
you 16% slower.
I don't know. I don't think... No, I'm not using that. No.
Okay, because
they did told me, and I checked, and no, that wasn't it.
Okay, because that one is sweet. You can do some stupid stuff with that, but at the same time, you are walking through Murkmire at that point. Like, the other thing, which is another CP that I use quite a bit, just because if I'm using Bracing Anchor, I try to counter it a small degree with the CP, I believe it's called Celerity, which makes you 4% faster.
Oh, okay.
It's also a red tree. That helps a little bit because it's speed. Basically, I really try to pair it when I'm using Bracing Anchor because it makes me less tragic. But at the same time, like, yeah, it's another one if you're having slow problems. I believe that's what it's called, is Celerity. I think that's the name of it, but it's in the red tree too. It gives you a little extra speed boost, which is handy.
Right. But yeah, none of those were my problems. I just wasn't pressing shift.
Just slow.
That's
I was not being able to run or that. Yeah, that's a
And then everyone was like,
that's a choice.
Have you been just walking this entire dungeon? I was like, yes.
Oh my god.
But yeah, eventually, all the keybinds and everything started coming back, and we started rolling through the dungeon. And we realized yet another thing. So last time we did Red Cellar, we attempted like twice, and we failed. And then we realized we weren't using our, like, how you kill like secret bosses and then you can spawn them back to help you and res everybody and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, we weren't using those. So when we started the dungeon, we were like, okay, this time let's use these. And we came to the final boss.
Bold strategy.
Yeah, and then we came to the final boss, and we were like, oh, wait, we forgot to use those again. And then we said, okay, let's use them on the final boss. And we started the final boss. We got to, like, a decent, like, 30-40% something. And then someone died, and we forgot them again, that they existed. And then we wiped, and then we were like, okay, this time for real, though, we have to use these. So we started using them, and they do help a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, we, after like a few wipes, not even feel like, I think we got it down on our 4th try. In total, well, for the last boss, 4th try. We wiped only like once or twice in the previous bosses as well, until my stupid muscle memory came back together. But yeah, within 2 hours, including all the shenanigans, just chatting around and wasting time, we cleared the Dread Cellar hard mode that we were missing as a team on our first attempt after 3 months of not playing together and me not playing at all. So that was pretty good. That made me happy.
And Dread Cellar is not an easy dungeon.
Yeah, before this whole like hiatus that I took, it was rough. But yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I was more focused. I don't know what changed, but it just went well. And we used the friendly things that we can spawn.
Those buffs are so clutch. The other thing too is, which I've definitely had it from my experience, which maybe you did, is sometimes if I'm just like not feeling a specific thing, I get worse at it because I'm just not paying really that much. Like, it's not that I intentionally don't pay attention to it, but it's just like, it's hard to stay focused, even if you want to, if you're not really super interested in it. Which, if you're trying to do something difficult, is just kind of like, oh man, we keep failing, and you take a little break and you get back in the mood. It's like, oh, I really feel like playing ESO or something like that. And then suddenly something that you were struggling with, it's like, well,
yeah,
we
maybe,
had no issue there.
Like, another thing is, though, like, I think as the Untaunted, since our group is, like, it's a very high-level group, but at the same time, it's very goofy. If we focus, we do very bad. Every difficult hard
light.
Yeah, every difficult hard mode that we cleared has been us just going, yeah, let's just wing it and then call the night, and then we clear it. That's like every single time. If you look back in one of the videos, back then I had time to edit those videos, but so the Ice Reach hard mode clear videos, because it brought up, so that's why I remember it. The clear that we had, Luna is talking about like how she wants a dog if she had a garden, and then we talk about like different dog breeds while fighting the boss. And then that's the run we actually cleared the boss after like attempting for like 40 minutes. That was the same with Moongrey Fane. We were like, okay, yeah, let's just last attempt. Let's just be done with it. We pulled and we cleared it. Same with Lair of Mars. So if we focus, it goes bad. If we just completely ignore everything happening, we somehow do better. That's why our like totem is the Nordic bath towels. We all dress up in Nordic bath towels, and that's how we do it. Actually, now that I mention it, I don't know if I don't remember if I talked about our Stonegarden hard mode clear, because I don't remember if I recorded. I think I did.
All I remember about your Stonegarden hard mode clear is you got stuck in a box.
Oh yeah, I did get stuck in a box. Yeah, okay, so I did talk about that, but
I do remember you getting stuck in a box. Honestly, that is what I remember about your battles with hard mode in Stonegarden.
Yeah, I got knocked back and died, like one-shotted. And when I rezzed, I was inside a box, and I just watched the fight from like between the cracks of the crate. And then I found out it wasn't even those big crates. It was one of those like very small crates. So it was like just my head, like entire body was under the floor, and it was just my head in the crate, and I was just watching the fight through the cracks. But regarding the Nordic bath towel, so we cleared Stonegarden hard mode with both Kitsu and Jen having their debuffs reset. So what happened was Kitsu just went to get like some food, so she got disconnected and lost the buffs. And Jen, we asked Jen to go re-dye her Nordic bath towel so it would fit the team and reset her buffs without knowing. And we somehow cleared that specific run. So yeah, we don't do well if we are well prepared. It has to be random and unfocused, I guess.
All right, so before we like move around this, just because I feel like this is more deja vu than I originally remembered, so I actually want to like put this in parallel to what you're saying. So I've also been in Stonegarden a lot this week. Two things specifically, which I actually did not realize had like odd parallels to your original runs while we were working on our trifecta. So one of our DPSs, so you know how you go to the alchemy stations and you can do the generic alchemy, or you can add Stinkhorn or Luminous Rasula or some other garbage, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had mentioned that performance has been a little less than optimal during the event now. And when we were going for True Genius, you have to do all of the hard modes in 25 minutes or less. So time is a factor, and generally you kind of skip the side rooms because you don't have time to grab the buffs too much. But we had enough DPS that we were actually able to grab 2 of the buffs with time to spare. So we were like, well, why handicap us there if we don't have to? Like, it'll just make staying alive easier. And in terms of being stuck, the reason I wanted to bring this one up is we were having some input delay, and our Sork in the group, Bill, goes to activate the thing and it doesn't activate. So he's like mashing the X button, like, come on. I like, we gotta go. We just give me the buff and let's get the hell out of here. And he activates the thing and he chooses the thing, but then it registered all of his extra X button presses, which on console, when you're on PlayStation, when you're pressing X, that's also your jump button. So he starts bunny hopping and he jumps on top of the alchemy station and goes through the alchemy station and is stuck. And we have to start the whole dungeon.
No, why?
He tried slash get unstuck, wouldn't do it. He tried porting out of the dungeon, like he left instance. He was frozen in place in Deshaun as if he was stuck in the table still.
Oh, I gotta love ESO.
So we had that going for us. And the other one relates to your buff situation, which I actually completely forgot about, you saying that 2 of your teammates lost their buffs during it. Well, I will say that we didn't encounter that. We did hear about it, an exploit, glitch, whatever you want to call it, which I will say it's been fixed just because we were like, I don't think that works like that. So we were doing some kind of like fiddling around to see if it actually does work, which, you know, don't exploit, but if you want to test stuff to find out how it works, you got it. But that we were just like, does this even work? Because several people were telling us about that. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that doesn't work. So they have fixed it, which is a good thing. Nice. But originally, one thing, again, I never got this to work. So I don't know if this is true or if this was just hearsay. But supposedly, if you went through Stonegarden, got all the buffs, and then re-queued the dungeon without leaving, you would have the buffs at the start of the dungeon again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you could skip all the side rooms and have all 3 buffs. And we were like, that seems kind of sketch. Yeah. And either it is sketch and it doesn't, and that was made up, or it's sketch and they knew it, so they fixed it. But either way, we can confirm, at least with our group, we tried it with just one of the buffs. We were like, we're not going to stack the deck to do this. But we were like, is that even a thing? It's not a thing as far as we know. So don't try that. It's not worth your time. But either way, it was one of those things where we were like, oh, yikes. Because we were kind of like, wow, that'd make True Genius a lot easier. But I was like, that's kind of not in the spirit of doing this.
Yeah.
So we did it with the first one. It didn't. And we were like, okay, cool. So I guess people either made that up or it's not a thing. Or like maybe it got fixed or something like that. But the reason I mentioned that was I appreciate them fixing that. And, you know, I understand if you're going for the thing. So that's fine. However, what I don't appreciate, ESO, is you giving me the debuff to travel out of the dungeon with it. Because during the first boss fight with the werewolf, you know, if you don't get the interrupt on the scream, it knocks all your
resources
it takes like
away.
20% of your resources as a max, like, away. So he got 2 screams in because the bashes weren't working because of the delay. We were just really, some runs just, he was not bashing. Like, there was just, there was no interrupt on that douchebag. So we're trying to get it. We're like, God damn it, it won't work. So we get 2 of the debuffs, and we're like, oh my God, this is awful. And then he bum rushes and it kills somebody, like, right at the first fight. And we're like, oh my God, let's just restart this. This is a waste of time. Like, this is no use toward a true genius. Like, this is a mess. We need a better instance than this. So I'm choosing to leave instance, but obviously the boss fight's going on because I hadn't died yet. And if you don't get out of his AoE slam, he hits you with fracture as well. Like, so he hits me, and it doesn't kill me. It almost kills me, but it throws me against the wall while I'm choosing leave instance, and it fractures me. And I show up into Shan, and I have 2 debuffs from the screaming, and I'm fractured. And I'm like, well, this doesn't seem good at all. We go back in the dungeon. It's still fucking on me.
Here, have an extra hard mode.
So we go to the first ad poll. I don't have enough stamina to puncture all of the ads because I'm so debuffed. I'm like, cool, this is gonna make this a lot better. So we figured we'd just see how long it would go before we died inevitably because of that. And as I'm like running along, it's still there. We start the boss fight again. It takes him away. And I'm like, oh, I guess it just had it on until it resets with the boss fight or something. So that time the boss fight works totally fine. We get the bashes, we nuke the dude. We go into the next section. As we're running the ads, I get the debuffs back on me. And I'm like, what is happening? And up until the point in which at one point I ran out of stamina and got trucked. I think it was during the like one of the either it was like one of the stone husks or one of the like white werewolves, like the pack leaders. One of them nuked me because I couldn't physically block anymore because my max stamina was like 10k. I'm like, this is fun. And then, you know, once I died, we went back out, went back in. Then it fixed itself. But for whatever reason, the buff just wouldn't leave me alone, or the debuff. So, yeah, I had the inverse version of the stuff you dealt with.
That's so like, goodness me. I don't know what happened. I'm really curious about what happens in the back. Yeah, see, bugs like that amuse me so much that I don't get mad. It's...
Yes, and... that's kind of the thing is like, yes, it does help. Like our thing is like, we definitely focus up and try to do stuff, especially when we're going for perfect runs and stuff like that. But when stupid crap happens, sometimes you just have to like not be too focused and just enjoy the fact that it's stupid, because that kind of kept us from getting frustrated when we were doing some stuff recently with pretty much any of my tales. Has just been, we found enjoyment in some really stupid shit that ended up, people were just like laughing that it's like, if this is the clear, like if this is the one we clear on, if anybody asks us for video proof of what we did, we look like morons. Like, and can confirm we totally do. Since the last show, and I had mentioned that I had been trying for it for a while, I got Immortal Redeemer, which for anybody who doesn't know what Immortal Redeemer is...
Can I stop you for 1 second? Because Ugo actually drew the stupid Stickman Dagon that I did into an actual thing. And... okay, so for anyone watching this on audio version, this is gonna go on Twitter, absolutely. So do check our Twitter, and I'm gonna, for anyone who's watching this in video format, I'm gonna put this on screen right now, because this is, first of all,
please put that on the video.
how fast did you do this? Second of all, you should submit this. It's
Please submit that, Ugo. And on top of that, that was like 15 minutes ago. How did you do this?
So this is there you go. This is just amazing. This is exactly what I had in mind, and he just made it in like minutes.
I was gonna say, Ugo, you need to submit this. Like, if you don't, we will on your behalf and be like, "This is Ugo." If we win, we send it to you. You win. Like, you need to submit this. That's so good.
The actual contents needs to have a screenshot element. Well, I mean,
just put a little picture. You know what? Superimpose Dagon's face on Dagon, or use the cutout of the double-necked guitar.
Ugo, you're amazing.
That is incredible. For anybody on the video, it's literally just like an actual version of what we were joking about when Ark drew his stick figure.
Okay, continue. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That was like, I love that thing. Yeah. So the Empty Soul Gems we had been trying to get Immortal Redeemer for about a month and a half, I think. It's been about six sessions or 12 sessions. I don't know how many sessions, whatever. Been about a month and a half, I think, a little over a month. And that's for doing the perfect perfecta of speedrun, hard mode, no death in Vet Asylum Sanctorum, the Clockwork City trial. And I sent you a video of us in practice, Ark, where I was like, this is tanking this place. And I was like, people said that, off tanking in there kind of looks like you're having a stroke.
Yeah.
Because you're just running all over the place and throwing stuff everywhere. We managed to get it, which was fantastic. We managed to knock it out this week. We got our perfecta. And in regards, we were getting so many one deaths. And the thing that was funny about it, which is why even though you try, to focus up and win and do stuff, you got to an extent keep it somewhat lighthearted. And that's why I actually shout out to the Empty Soul Gems, as if I haven't shouted them out enough. I love running with the group of them, because even though we're serious, we're pretty min-maxy, not the most, but we're definitely pretty min-maxy. Everybody just is, you can tell, trying to get everybody better. It's not oh, screw you, you did this wrong, we blame you. Anybody who screws up, we give them some decent amount of ripping on them, but everybody knows it's a joke, because then everybody tries to show them like, oh, if you do this, this will help, or I'll do this and this will make it easier for you. So it's like all in good fun, as opposed to like actually trying to like shit on each other, which does not help anything. You're not going to get better if everybody just feels like crap all the time. And we've definitely had quite a few close calls, myself included. I definitely had hi puppy. I had a couple runs. I had a couple runs that I was not super experienced in this place before. I had it cleared, but I wasn't like a pro. And the other tank was relatively new to it too. And the tanking, support in this place is like super crucial. So I was very appreciative that everybody was very patient while we figured out exactly the best method in which to do it. But I had a run where right at the end, I ended up being the only death in a 35-36. No. And I was like, dude, it was one of the few times where I was like, dude, I'm legitimately frustrated that I'm the only one to screw this one up. And it was funny because I showed the video to people, and most people just kind of laughed. They're like, wow, dude, you got hyper fucked. I got, without going too much into the mechanics of the place, there was questions on maybe if I had tried one or two different things, there was a chance maybe I wouldn't have died or not gotten somebody else killed in my place, which I had zero interest in doing. It was to try to save myself, but kill a DPS instead. The main boss in the place kind of freaks out a little bit. And sometimes, even though he's taunted and should be staring where the main tank is, he'll just get bored and turn around, and he'll just look at the entranceway where there's a bunch of DPSs and just breathe steam breath at them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, why not?
Why not? Which does some damage, but mainly hits them all with a massive fracture, which is real bad. Yeah. So what it is you kind of just work with it, and if you see him turning, yell out like, "Oh, it's turning to entrance, turning to exit," like if he's doing anything weird or whatever. And in this situation, he turns to entrance, which happens to be where I am at the time, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." But I also get one of the minis has a mechanic where he puts this poison cone on you, and he like sends out these like poison waves. So if you get hit by those, you got to block. I mean, you can survive it as a tank, but if you're a DPS, it'll mess you up real bad. So the steam breath is dropping, and then all of a sudden I get picked for cone, and I'm like, oh, that's not okay. Well, now I can't move because I have steam breath. Like, I mean, I have the cone. So if I start running around, the cone will overlap on DPSs, and I'll start killing them. Like, that's not good. And then the other mini jumps crooked and goes next to me and puts an AoE next to me.
Oh my god.
So I can't even try to strafe away slowly. So now I'm sandwiched between an AoE, I'm in the breath, and the other mini is hitting me with cone at the same time. And I'm like, oh dear God. And at that point, he finishes his jump, leaves the AoE there, and then just starts wailing on the side of me, which that's fine. He's supposed to pay attention to me. But combined with all of these things, I'm like, I have to just stand here and try to take all of this, like, which nothing is that bad in there individually, but when it all hits you at once, it's not great. And I was like, so I just tried to shield stack and heal as best I could. And I was 4 ultimate away from being able to pop a magma shell, and I died.
I was just gonna say, like, what about magma shell? But
yep, 4 ultimate from a magma shell, and instead it just overwhelmed me with damage, and I died.
Man.
But us immediately killing the boss and beating it with a 35 of 36. Because it was right at the end.
Dude, that dying with just a few ultimates to the magma shell is the worst.
I know.
It's just because if it's just half a second
I would have been totally fine. I would have just set in them all for everybody. And there was question like one genius idea that the other one of the other he was the back healer had mentioned, and I was like, ooh, he was like, no guarantee this is gonna save you, but theoretically, had you rolled into the mini that's doing the cone, since he would be stuck on you for the cone, it would spin the cone so fast in the other direction, it might not actually register a tick on any of the DPS. And I was like, oh, that's a good... He's like, but that's speculation. He's like, I've never had literally every RNG mechanic hit me at the exact same moment. He's like, that wasn't great. But whatever. And we had lots of just goofy ones. One thing that was kind of funny, because then to make ourselves feel better, we briefly we had it for about a week. We had the new patch PS4, PSN, NA, VAS high score on one of our 35s. So we were just talking like jokingly about how we all needed little number 1 hats and stuff like that. And then we immediately got dethroned because someone did a score push instead of just a generic clear. We're like, oh, we didn't do it anymore. But we did manage to, like I said, get it this week. And the thing that was why I said you got to keep it jokey was we had a really good pull right before it. I think it was a 34 of 36. And we're running into the arena, and we've just run it so many times. Everybody's joking like, oh, okay, well, does anybody have a Colossus? No. Does anybody have a Warhorn? No. Nobody's prepped. Nobody has any of their stuff ready. And one of our DPSs is like, oh, I guess I can use my Colossus. And we're like, okay, does anybody have a horn? And everybody's like, no. He's like, well, I'm going to use my Colossus on the bridge then. And we all laugh, ha, ha, ha. And as we're running in, he uses his Colossus on the bridge. And he's like, I wasn't kidding. I'm throwing this away if you're not going to give me a Warhorn. That was our Immortal Redeemer run.
There you go. I'm telling you, man, being focused and prepared works negatively. You gotta just be goofy and wing it, and it works.
Yeah. So as the best part is, which is why we were like, dude. So there were 7 of us who got our Immortal Redeemers on that run for the first time, who had never gotten a perfect in there. As we were going in, our VOD of like, oh, here's me doing this. As we're running along the ramp to go to the trial, you just see this Colossus come up in the middle and just be like, "Rah!" Just wasted in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, perfect. The best way to explain how we did a perfect run. So, I second that whole take things only so seriously. Because in True Genius, which we also got this week, we actually got it on Friday. So we got our Perfecta in Stonegarden, which is great because now I don't need to run Stonegarden anymore because I don't like dungeons that make me transform into things. That dungeon, as everybody knows, is pretty rough on the hard modes. And during an event, don't suggest going for Perfectas during a dungeon event. I had mentioned one of our sorks getting stuck in the table. We had some issues getting bashes to like register on the first boss. I had one, which I still don't have an explanation for. During the final fight, you know how like it drops the things out of the chambers?
Yeah.
The little ads. The least threatening ad is a Durzog. He barely does anything. For some reason, my blocks seemed to be up when I rewatched it. The Durzog bit me for 247,000 damage, completely destroying me.
That's what you get for underestimating the poor guy.
Yeah.
He was trying his best.
He obliterated me. But while we were doing all of that stuff, we again tried to keep things goofy and stuff like that. We definitely had plenty of bugs and everything, but we managed to knock out our True Genius as well, which I'm super stoked because now we can move on to a different dungeon. Because that one in Frostvault. It's not the dungeons that I don't like. It's just the final phase.
Yeah, the transformations that you don't
The
like.
transformation thing is not. It's not my thing. I know some people like them and it looks cool, but I just don't like doing it.
Honestly,
really the only
turning into a giant werewolf was fun. Turning into a skewer, not as fun.
All right, but what do you think about turning into a giant skeever?
I don't know. We'd have to try.
Because that is a potential bug that I've got.
What?
I think. Yeah. Oh no, our healer has a video of me tanking as a skeever the whole fight.
Oh my god.
I turned into a skeever. I mean, in my game, I looked totally normal, but it was just a graphical error where they thought I was still, because they were panicking. They're like, "Oh no, Lotus is stuck as a skeever," and I'll see if I can find her video and I'll actually post it like on the Tails Twitter if I can find the one.
Yeah.
I think it should be down with it. But our healer Celeste was like, "Oh no, you're a skeever," and I was like, "What? I'm fine. What's the problem?" And in the video, every time I would do a move, the skeever would jump. That it even had an animation for it. So there's three normal characters fighting the giant like half centurion thing, and then there's just this big ass skeever because I'm the size of them as a skeever, and it just says LotusOfDoom above my head, and every time I do a skill I just go squeak 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 and it's just bouncing in place. So
I would like to see the video of that.
Yeah, so we've got that on video as well. I'll see if I can get it from her so that she'll post it. But like bugs like that, I'm all for. That stuff's hilarious. Especially because it didn't affect me at all. I had no idea. I just didn't know why they were laughing and freaking out. But afterwards, it made a lot more sense. The other thing I've been doing, which it's almost like I planned it this way, but I definitely didn't. Templars and DKs are very strong this patch. Very, very strong. And I already play my DK, trying to do everything. But also to fill in for other people, I've been practicing with my Templar, which would be Guesthaniir.
Oh my god.
And Guesthaniir, I am going through and beating every vet dungeon with Guesthaniir now. And I've got his damage to be pretty respectable. I have the big debate over fake tanks, fake healers has been a big thing. And I have a heal on. So I'm a healer as far as I'm concerned. If we're doing a vet dungeon, then okay, maybe I'll do stuff a little different. But if I just queue for a random normal, I make sure that I have the ability to heal people so that they won't die. And otherwise, I'm doing damage until you need me to heal. That's basically how I play my healer.
Honestly, in normal dungeons, I am like, as long as you can do your job while doing damage, I am all for it in normal dungeons, because I want normal dungeons to go fast. If I'm queuing up for a random normal, so yeah.
For sure. And most people do. So, you know, that is what it is. But I've been going through on Guesthaniir doing those, and I have recently learned what people talk about, because I only really play tank, and I've never really understood this like fake tank thing other than like, well, if you get it done, you get it done. Man, I have never needed to play healer, DPS, and tank so much until I started queuing as a healer or a DPS, because I have gotten, I assume it's largely because of the event. Holy crap, have I had a lot of runs where it's just all 4 people are DPS, if you include myself. The one that I was not a huge fan of was we got Cellar with 3 other DPSs. Well, so me as a healer and 3 DPSs. That's fine, except the 3 DPSs were also new. So I don't know, like the guy who faked being a tank was not like some all-star who was just like, well, I'm going to just burn through everything super quick. It's, I'm doing an okay amount of damage. Also, I'm not a tank queued as a tank. So in the group, it was quite apparent I was the healer doing the most DPS, which that's not a brag from me. That is an insult to the people in my group, because I am not a very good DPS. And I'm okay with insulting them because they weren't doing their jobs properly in the situation. And then the tank wasn't a tank. He was just straight up a damage dealer. And if you're going to do that, at least have a taunt.
Yeah.
Didn't even have a taunt. Nothing. The bosses were just running around all over the place. So great, perfect. That's exactly what we need in like the Cellar. When 2 of the people are actually even still doing the quest. So like that was their first time in there, which I was like, oh, this is a mess. Yeah. I was like, this is a mess. But I refused to. I was like, okay, well, whatever. It's just normal. We can probably go through it. I successfully managed to, quote unquote, tank the final boss, which was the biggest problem of all of them. Because even on normal, if you're in all light armor, that hurts.
Yeah.
There's a lot of incoming damage. But we did manage to beat it. And again, I generally don't find too much toxicity in this game, but it was kind of funny because during the thing when I'm trying to heal people and the boss is literally running around just one-shotting everybody, I posted in chat, I was like, do we like not have a tank? Like, is that what's going on? And nobody responds, just no response. So I was like, cool, I guess I'll just slot inner fire as well. That's cool. So like I said, I dragged his attention as much as possible and then just basically because I could take one block even on normal with my character. I basically had to just dodge roll a lot while trying to heal and trying to do damage as best I could. And I just ran around the arena like a lunatic, which not great for dots, but whatever. We needed to be alive. They also didn't understand the portal part, which if it's the first time you're doing the dungeon, that's totally fine. Like that, you got to learn it. That's not a problem. The other guy, you can go to hell because like you're gonna queue wrong. Like at least
know the mechanic.
Good. Yeah, exactly. Like don't queue wrong and then be bad. Like that's not don't choose the worst of everything, please. So I mean, shout out to the other 2 actual damage dealers. You can be new. You don't need to be an all-star. They figured out what I was doing and started joining me. But I basically went in and had to solo the portal as well. and do it before they wiped upstairs, because since I had the boss's aggro, I mean, he goes into that like burst thing. So they were dying upstairs because they didn't know to go through portal for a while. And like I said, they eventually figured it out. I had to go in there and like shatter the thing so that we didn't have the spider, which I assume is still a thing on normal, but whatever the case, we get through the thing and we managed to beat it. And I always like to say, you know, good job or good game or whatever at the end. And then somebody finally responds. It's the other tank. And he says, "Oh, sorry, I'm not a tank. And I didn't have a taunt slotted."
Oh, really?
To which point I was just like, yeah, that wasn't lost on me. Thanks. And then I just quit the group. But whatever, we beat it. I hope that didn't traumatize the 2 new DPSs in that dungeon for that dude being crap. But I definitely have run into a lot of that during this event. Most of the time it doesn't matter because it's a nuke fest. Like on normal, you can usually just blow through everything. It's just in situations like that, I figured I would bring up. I do understand if you are not experienced, that sucks. Like that's a crappy experience to go through that for the first time. So that's lame. So I definitely do understand, even though it's long been a time since I have been too broken up about that myself. Experiencing it from that perspective, I get it. Like that's not good. So I don't really know what the solution is other than people stop doing that unless you can really carry all of the weight. But yeah, that's not, don't do that. Like, just don't do that. And then the only other stuff I've been doing is I've been playing a bunch of Skyrim Anniversary Edition because I am a huge shill and got Skyrim Anniversary Edition. And I don't know what it is about that game. Every time I'm like, oh, I'm just going to play through it. I'll just like goof around a little bit. That game is so good. No wonder it keeps getting friggin' re-released over and over again. Yeah. The other night, I was like, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to just do a Daedric quest toward my achievement for getting 15 Daedric artifacts. And 3 hours later, I was like, why did I start playing this? Because I had done nothing related to a Daedric quest. And I was like, I've played this game for thousands of hours and I'm doing it again. I can't stay on. I'm just like, oh, a cave. Ooh, this. Oh, I can craft these things. So
it has probably, like, it's one of the highest replayability rates in gaming history. It is. It's like people give Skyrim a hard time and / Bethesda a hard time because they keep releasing Skyrim, because we keep playing it and the game is still fun. After 10 years, dozens of playthroughs, 10 different editions, the freaking game is still fun. So they re-release it. It's make a good game, make a lot of money. That's how it works.
Right. And the new stuff that's been added, a lot of it is really cool. Some of the new armors, some of the new enemies. I'm just starting the Tribunal expansion thing, which is really cool because it's got Morrowind armors, which is
ugly,
super my thing. How dare you? But yeah, really, I've just been having a lot of fun with it. It's just so much fun, and it's about that time of year. I always do kind of dip into Skyrim around the late autumn or into winter time because I've long said that Skyrim is essentially New England, anyways. So I just look outside and I'm like, oh, look, it's Skyrim, and then I'm playing Skyrim, so it all syncs up real nice, some real good immersion. But yeah, it's been very enjoyable, especially because I don't mod, so it's been weird to have some of the stuff built in now that was originally kind of like Creation Club stuff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so that's really different for me. I posted last night a picture, which, man, talk about the all-time most useless edition of the game, and it made me literally laugh out loud like an idiot in my room. So Calcelmo, the guy who runs the Dwemer Museum, so he was given a pet. I don't know if this was from a separate DLC or if this is literally the first time this was done with Anniversary Edition, but he has a mud crab decked out in Dwemer armor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
As a
Is this on your Twitter?
Yes, it is.
I'm looking it up.
While he's at his, he was doing, I was talking to him about the quest to go into the actual thing, and he's working away, and there's just this little mud crab clanking away next to him, and periodically like walking around me, and then just burrowing into the ground. So all you can see is this little like Twimmer hat. I'm like, this is so entertaining.
That's one mean-looking mud crab. That's
right. He doesn't. I don't think he takes any prisoners. But it was such a funny little addition where it's like, that's just flavor to it, but it's so, it matched what was going on anyway. So I was like, hey, this is so good. But yeah, so I've been having a lot of fun with Skyrim Anniversary Edition. And again, if you don't want to buy it, one of the things that actually Bundinator and chat, I know wasn't really planning to, because again, buying the same game for full price every few years is a little rough. You can upgrade it if you already own it. And I think it's like $20. It's the upgrade. If you already have it, is totally the way to go, unless you want to buy the game for the first time, or you're a collector like me and want the physical version of it or something like that. But yeah. And I think that's pretty much it for me. Yeah. Anything else from you? Yeah.
Not really. I mean, I'm just now getting to have game time in. Hopefully we'll get back to like weekly dungeon runs with the Untaunted if my schedule ever gets set in stone and things like that. But yeah, that's the plan.
Nice. I guess then before we kind of close stuff out, I want to give one more quick mention, because the next time we will record will be after I have done the giveaway, but I had mentioned it each week. There is still time to enter for the Dragonstone Collector's Tablet, which I've mentioned on the last couple of shows. It's retroactive if you've already donated to Extra Life on the Tales, or my own personal, it's the same one. Extra Life campaign, but for every $1 donated to Extra Life, you are given one entry to win the Dragonstone tablet. Doesn't it, as much as it's probably going to be a mess depending upon who wins, you do not need to be US based only. I will find a way to get it to you regardless of where you live. And really fingers crossed that the mail service doesn't lose it or steal it or whatever they do, because thumbs down, mail service recently, thumbs down. Not a fan of you. It's expensive and doesn't get there, which really bugs me. It's ridiculous. Do one or the other, man. Like, make it cheap and not arrive, or or just make it get there and make it, expensive, I guess.
That would be helpful.
One or the other. Don't do both. Don't charge me an arm and leg and then, oh, sorry, we lost the coin. It's like, God, are you serious? But anyways, mail service aside, you have until December 1st. So if you do want to enter, feel free to go to extralife.org. Then participant, Lotus of Doom, that's the direct link via Word, but you can find it on my Twitter or on my channel or pretty much anywhere. Just look up Lotus of Doom on Extra Life. Just make sure that there's some way that I can connect it to you. If you want to do it anonymously, just let me know off to the side with just a receipt confirmation or something like that. I'll make sure to get you added in. And I will do the drawing on December 1st, so you have until then. And good luck to everybody. I know I've gotten many messages of people very excited to hopefully win this thing. So good luck, everybody. Hopefully it also reaches you without any issues. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me this week. And yeah, I guess.
Do I do the outro? Do you do the outro? What do we do here?
I was just thinking, I was like, oh man, who did? All right,
what? Tell people where they can find you then.
Well, all right. It's fair enough. So for me, you can find all of my stuff at Lotus of Doom. I'm pretty much everywhere at Lotus of Doom. I've recently been looking into Guilded as an alternative because I know a lot of you use it as opposed to Discord. Turns out somebody stole my name there and my avatar. So that's not me, I guess. I don't know.
Is it possible? Did you create an account just to check it out a while ago?
That's what Thailand said. He was like, dude, did you create this and not remember? I cannot figure. I don't know. I'm currently working on it, so don't find me on Gilded yet. That probably isn't me unless I totally forgot about this. But yeah, it's Twitch and Twitter. This week, obviously, we did the live show over at Arkaniir's Quest because we had Ark back. But if Ark isn't on the show, also we record on my Twitch as well, Lotus of Doom. But yeah, I pretty much Lotus of Doom anywhere you'll find me, like I said, except Gilded. So hold on Gilded. I'm glad to see people have friend requested fake me on Gilded already. So that's great. Perfect. Wonderful. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me.
All right. So as for me, I am mostly active on Twitter now and on Discords. You can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/Arkaniir, ARKHANIIR. Depending on when Lotus can record, I will continue to hop back on Tales. Otherwise, I will continue to edit and publish Tales, and you can find all of those over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, although I cannot spend time on it at the moment, but I will try to do some retroactive stuff. You can also consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we're a real podcast, that we say real words, and it really, really does help. Thank you all so very much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel. It was good to be back, and we will see you all next week. Have a great, great day, night, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to Chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.